Hello everyone, this is Kruti Patel from Pharmaceutical Technology Department, LJ Institute of Pharmacy. Welcome to Pharma Ignite, the official channel of LJ Institute of Pharmacy. Now today we will be continuing with the chemical sterilization only. In last lecture we had studied about different factors affecting chemical sterilization and also what are the ideal characteristic of disinfectant. Now in today's session we are going to continue with the classification of disinfectant. So let's start with the topic. If you look at the classification of disinfectant, then there are 8 different classes. Now this classification is a mixture. It can be based on functional group of any disinfectant, or also there are various classes like there is also one class like gaseous agents. So it is also based on the state. So it is a combination. Okay. The first class is phenol and phenolic compounds. Now, if we talk about phenol, then this phenol is very excellent disinfectant. Mostly 5% concentration is used to kill vegetative cell of microorganism. Now what is vegetative cell? Vegetative cells means cells that can grow, that can multiply, means living cells in short. Okay, so that is known as vegetative cell. And the second part is spore. What do you mean by spore? I have already explained you. Spore means dormant form of any microorganism. Okay, so that is known as spore. Now, as your microorganism is in dormant state, so killing of spores will be very much difficult. Okay, so always remember one thing: when you want to kill spores or when you want to kill spore form or endospore form of any microorganism, then you need higher concentration. Okay, so to kill any vegetative cell, the concentration will always lesser, and to kill any spore form, the concentration will always be higher. Okay, because your microorganism is in dormant state that has formed a protective layer again outside its structure. That's why it is very much difficult to kill that spore forms. Okay, so yes, 5% concentration is used to kill spore form, vegetative form. Now, this phenol and phenolic compound can be either bactericidal or bacteriostatic depending upon the concentration. What is bactericidal? What is bacteriostatic? That I have also explained you. Bacteriostatic means which stops the growth of microorganism, and bactericidal which means kills the microorganism. Okay, so if we use higher concentration, then your compound will act as bactericidal, and if we use the lower concentration, then your compound will act as bacteriostatic. Okay, so depending upon concentration, their action might vary. Okay, now if you look at the mechanism of killing of microorganism, then there are 4 different mechanism of killing of microorganism. First is disruption of cell, that means that kills the total cell of microorganism, means that ruptures the cell of microorganism. Okay, the second one is precipitation of cell protein, means cell proteins will precipitate out. Then third one is leakage of the inactivation of enzyme. Which enzymes? Which are essential for the growth of microorganism. The enzymes which are present in body of microorganism, which are present in cells of microorganism. Okay, so this disinfectant will inactive those enzymes. And the last one is leakage of amino acids from the cells. So this all are the mechanism by which phenol and phenolic compounds may work to kill microorganism. Now let me tell you one more thing. The one question is being asked, that is, explain the dynamics of disinfectant. Now what is dynamics? Dynamics means a driving force for killing of microorganism. Okay, so whenever they ask you write a note on dynamics of disinfectant, that means you have to explain each and every mechanism by which there are chances of killing of microorganism. Okay, so for phenol and phenolic compounds, the dynamics of disinfectant includes 4 points, right? The first is disruption of cell, second is precipitation of protein, third is inactivation of enzyme, and fourth is leakage of amino acids from the cells. Okay, so these are the dynamics. Moving ahead, the examples of phenol and phenolic compounds includes oleophenol, cresol, hydroxyresorcinol, resorcinol. So these all compounds can act as disinfectant. Okay. Now the next class is alcohols. Okay, alcohol. Okay, before starting this class, I have very interesting question for you all. We all are using sanitizer, right? we all will be using this alcohol in our lab also to sterilize our place and everything. Okay, so that will be included in practicals or practical demo or whatever. So in sanitizers also we are using alcohol. Now this alcohol is used in what concentration? In which concentration this alcohol is used? Whether 50%, 40%, 30%, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. What percentage should be there? Have you ever thought of which percentage is used for in sterilization? Sorry, which percentage is used of alcohol for the sanitization purpose? 100%? 100% alcohol is used? No, not 100% alcohol is used. So here comes very important comment. Okay, here comes your very important comment from exam point of view. They asked 70% alcohol is used as disinfecting or sterilizing agent. True or false? Yes, it is true. 70% alcohol is used as sterilizing agent, not 100% or not 90% alcohol is used for the sterilization purpose. Now, why it is so? Have you ever noticed that when we take sanitizer in our hand and when we rub it off, many a times what happens? You feel dryness in your hands. That happens. If you use it frequently, then your hands will become dry gradually. Okay. Why it is happening? Because alcohol has one very interesting characteristic, and that is dehydration. Okay. What happens when you apply alcohol in your hands? That has tendency to dehydrate cell. That's why we are feeling somewhat cooling sensation in our hands. Why? Because that is evaporating water and that is giving us cooling sensation. Okay, so that has tendency of dehydrating any cell. So what happens if we use 90% alcohol or above 90% alcohol for the sterilization purpose? Then that will dehydrate the microbial cell. And many a times when you dehydrate microbial cell, that microbial cell will be converted into spore form. That will convert it into dormant state, because that is feeling that this water is draining out from my body. So what that will do? That will convert it into spore form. Okay. So once that is converted into spore form, it is very much difficult to kill them. So always, to stop dehydrating microbial cell, always 50 to 70% alcohol is used for the sterilization purpose, and in most of the cases 60% alcohol is used as sterilizing agent. Okay, or practically we can say 70% alcohol is used for the sterilization purpose. Now if we look at the mechanism, or we can say dynamics of disinfection by the alcohol, then it is protein denaturation, then the second is damage of lipid complexes in the cell membrane, and the third is dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent, I have already explained you. What is protein denaturation? Means the nature of protein breaks completely and the damaged lipid complexes in the cell membrane, that means a specific cell component will be damaged. Okay, that's why the microorganism won't be able to survive. If we look at the examples of alcohol, then they are methanol, ethanol, isopropyl alcohol, or or any other alcohol. Okay, so this all sorry, so this all are the examples for the alcohols. Okay, now our next class is halogens. If we talk about halogens, there are two main components which are used for the sterilization purpose. First is iodine and second is chlorine. We all know we use both these agents in our daily routine. That means betadine, which is widely used tube. When you get a wound anywhere on your body, you apply betadine solution or you apply betadine tube. Okay, so that is iodine, and second one is chlorine. Chlorine, yes, it is a very good example we use for the sterilization purpose of water, right? We sterilize water using chlorine many a times. Okay, so these two are the wonderful agents which are used for the sterilization purpose. Let's start with the iodine. Now, iodine, you might have used iodine in your lab. Okay, iodine has one important characteristic. Which important characteristic is that? That gives staining. When you use iodine, that gives staining on your hand or on the surface which you are using. Okay, so that staining is actually not required, right? So always this iodine is used in form of iodophore. When you apply betadine, is it giving stain? No, it is not giving stain. Okay, it has yellow color, but it never gives stain. Why? Because non-staining iodine you might have prepared in your lab. Okay, how this non-staining iodine is prepared? By forming iodophore. Now what is this iodophore? Iodophore means iodine plus surfactant. Okay, that combination is used. That combination is known as iodophore. Why we are adding this surface active agent? When we add surfactant, what happens? That helps in solubilizing iodine. Okay, that's why we are adding surfactant, and that combination is known as iodophore, and that is used in the disinfection process. Okay. Now the mechanism, if we talk about mechanism, then yes, the all halogens are strong oxidizing agent. So what does they do? They oxidize the bacterial cell, and thus that microbial cell is killed. Okay. Moving further, the second is chlorine and chlorine compounds. Now in chlorine and chlorine compounds there are two categories. First is hypochlorite and second is chloramines. These two categories are widely used for the sterilization purpose. So if we talk about hypochlorites, then examples include calcium hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite. Okay, so this all are the hypochlorites. The second is chloramines. Now chloramine example includes monochloramine, then chloramine D, then isochloramine. This all are the examples of chloramines. If you look at the mechanism, then what happens? The chlorine that reacts with water and that forms hypochlorous acid, okay, and HCl. Now this hypochlorous acid again that is converted into ions and that produce HCl plus O. Now here I have written O in bracket. Now that O in bracket is known as nascent oxygen. You might have studied it before. Now this nascent oxygen is very strong oxidizing agent. Okay, so again, what is the mechanism? That oxidizes the microbial cell and thus causing the death of microorganism. Okay, so if you talk about halogens, then main mechanism of killing of microorganism by halogens is oxidization. Okay, moving further, the next is heavy metals and their derivatives. Now heavy metals and their derivatives, that includes example of copper, then silver, then mercury. These all are the examples of heavy metals. Now this heavy metals gives or kills microorganism by very specific action, and that action is known as oligodynamic effect. I have written here oligodynamic effect. Now oligo means small. Okay, when this heavy metals, they have potency of killing microorganism even at very low concentration. Dynamics, that means that I have already told you, dynamics means driving force to kill microorganism. Okay, so small amount of heavy metal which can kill a microorganism, that is known as oligodynamic effect. This is very important, you have to remember. This is important from an exam point of view. Okay, so yes, they kill microorganism by oligodynamic effect. Now how does that work? How this heavy metal works? What is the mechanism of killing? Then enzyme which have essential functional group like thiosulfate group, right? That is known as SH group, we all know. What happens? This enzyme that combines or HgCl2, that is mercuric chloride, which is our heavy metal. Okay, this mercuric chloride combines with essential functional group of enzyme, and what happens? That forms the cyclic structure. So look at here, the whole structure of enzyme is changed. Okay, so what happens? Your microorganism cannot survive because that enzyme will not work as according that has to work. Okay, so what happens? There is the killing of microorganism. Okay, moving ahead, the next class is dyes. Yes, dyes are a very good example of disinfectant that kill microorganism very easily. Now there are two classes of dyes which kills microorganism. First is triphenyl methane dyes, and second class is acridine dyes. Triphenyl methane dyes includes examples of malachite green, brilliant green and crystal violet. These all are the examples which we will be using in lab. If you have started staining, then you might be knowing the names of these dyes. and the second is acridine dyes, which includes acriflavin. The main mechanism of killing of microorganism by these dyes is they interfere with the cellular oxidation process, and thus that kills the microorganism. Okay. Moving further, the next class is detergents. Detergents, yes, surfactants, surface active agents. They again kill microorganism by reducing the surface tension, right? So anionic and cationic detergents both are used. Say for example, trichlocarbon or T-pol. Okay, this all are the examples of surfactant. If you look at the mechanism, then enzyme disruption or inactivation or protein denaturation. This all are the mechanism of killing of microorganism. Moving further, the next is quaternary ammonium compound. Now what is quaternary ammonium compound? That you all know. They mostly have bactericidal activity. Okay, that means that kills the microorganism. The example includes cyprin chloride or dipirin chloride. Okay, so these are the examples. If you look at the mechanism of killing of microorganism, then it includes protein denaturation or interfere with glycolysis and membrane damage. Okay, so I guess this is easy. I don't need to explain it in detail, right? The next class is aldehydes. Our next class is aldehydes. Now examples for aldehyde includes formaldehyde, or you can say formalin, right? This formaldehyde is excellent disinfecting agent. This formaldehyde is actually in gaseous state. When we make 35 to 40% solution, then it is known as formalin. Okay. Now this formalin is widely used for the preserving bodies, right? Aldehyde are both bactericidal plus poricidal, means that can kill spores also. If you look at the mechanism, then it combines with the vital nitrogen compound of the body, and thus that kills the microorganisms. Moving further, the last is gaseous agents. Now these gaseous agents are very important sterilizing agent. We will be studying the whole short note of gaseous agent in detail in afterwards. The most important gas which is used for the sterilization purpose is ethylene oxide. Now where these gaseous agents are used? When we want to sterilize the large room, say for example in hospitals, operation theaters, right? After one operation we have to sterilize that operation theater. So at that place this ethylene oxide gas is used for the sterilization purpose. So it is widely used method for the sterilization of the big area. Okay. Yes, this ethylene oxide, as you can see, this ethylene oxide has cyclic structure CH2 CH2O. Okay. Now how they kill microorganism? Then mostly they go for the alkylation. They bring out alkylation reaction which inactivates the enzymes which are essential for the growth of microorganism, right? So what is happening? This ethylene oxide is combining with enzyme, and that forming or that altering the whole structure of enzyme, and that's why killing the microorganism. Okay, so this all were the classes of disinfectant. This is very important. This topic is very important from an exam point of view. They are asking in different ways in exam. I hope classification of disinfectants is clear to everyone. For more such videos, please subscribe to Pharma Ignite. Thank you so much.